I've been teaching for about 25 years, and the hardest thing to teach is when you finally kind of matriculate and get to the PhD level, is to address an audience that has just returned from lunch, right? So I hope you're not in a carbohydrate coma. So what I'm going to do is, and this was something that I was told, so one of the things that I want to do is keep you engaged. Hopefully, a lot of times what happens is speakers come and say, I want this to be an engaging session, and then they do nothing to keep you engaged. Have you gone through that? Yeah, so I have suffered through that, so I'm going to keep it simpler for you, where I'm going to ask you for some things without which I will not be able to proceed. Is that okay? So my delivery depends on you. So I would like you to be kind to me and help me with some of the input that I would want from you. But before that, we have 76 players ready. Wonderful. So let's just do this. Let's just get started with some simple questions, simple quiz. This is to get your brain cells a little activated. Okay? So I'm just going to pick true or false? You are a cyborg. One of three answers: yes, no, or what the hell is a cyborg? All three are valid answers, but just wanted to hear what's your thoughts. Are you able to select? So quickly pick whatever you think is. Ta-da! Okay, so we have 36 people who said they are not cyborgs. I'm not here to disprove anyone, but I'm just going to do a small thought experiment, okay? But let's just look at it. 36 people say no, 32 people, what is a cyborg? I think one of the earlier speakers had mentioned about Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator. Have you seen that movie? Right? He comes half man, half machine. How many of you believe we are already there in the sense we are half men or half women and half machine? Apparently, 68 of you think not. Okay? But I'm going to ask you a follow-up question to this, and all you need to do is just raise your hand if the answer to whatever I've asked is correct. How many of you used Google Maps to get here? Great. How many of you are wearing a smart watch right now? I'm wearing one. I'm not getting into CGM and all those other things that you can also do these days, right? So my question to you is, you woke up, the first thing that you laid your hand on was your digital device. First thing that we don't like to admit it, right? So thank you for saying yes. I should be drinking green tea and doing yoga, but I don't. I have too much of FOMO, 8 hours of sleep. I don't know what happened in the world, right? So there is this need for me to get information. My question to you now is going back to this, which is, whether you like it or not, you're already a cyborg. You're already a person using a machine. And I'll give you an anecdote that, in case you have heard, there was a very famous Steve Jobs interview where he actually mentioned this, where one of the magazines in the US, they tried to see what is the most efficient animal in the whole animal kingdom. Efficient in terms of transportation, right? They figured that, the kite or the cheetah with its very elegant running was very efficient, and humans were not even in the top 100. But, here is the kicker, but a human on a bicycle was the most efficient animal on the planet. Think about it, right? And Steve Jobs called computers the bicycle of the mind. And if computers are the bicycle of the mind, AI is your F1 racing car. right? But as with most things, I'm going to be talking about why it's important to be a good cyborg as opposed to a bad cyborg, but just wanted one confirmation from you, which is, do you agree we are all cyborgs? Yes? Can I hear a yes? Very good. Okay, so there is still a no, okay? And I'm absolutely this, so maybe over the next 15, 20 minutes, we'll look at a few other things and see what can. I need to know coding technology to work with AI. What do you think? True, false? The true is coming up, but there is a lot of people who are saying I don't need to use technology. So let me just set the expectation clearly. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of experts in AI, which is the predictive AI, which is the term that was coined in 1956. That is when the term artificial intelligence was coined. And this is the one that involves having data and creating predictive models, right? But a large part of the power of AI has been unlocked 2.5 years ago in what many would have experienced as that ChatGPT moment. Has anyone had this ChatGPT moment, like this one time that you were introduced to it and you saw something and it just kind of blew your mind? Anybody in that? The first time, just go back to that day when you first, someone, family friend, school, college senior introduced you and you looked at it and you said, wow, this seems to be doing a lot of things. And the beauty of it is in the last 2.5 years, what we have seen is that is generative AI. And I'm going to talk specifically about generative AI. Generative AI cannot lift a box. Right? So we're not talking about robotics, we are not talking about all the other things on automation, but we are talking about what can be done by code. Right? So I have one more question and then I have a few slides. So this one is also a question where I would like to see how we are. And as I said, no right answers, but I'm going to give you a set of things that usually, and fear is not a bad thing, right? Fear is not a bad thing. Fear is a good thing. Fear tells me that things are not going to be the same. Something is changing, right? And a lot of times we don't know what is changing, and that can be scary, right? And it's absolutely perfect for us to be scared about AI. So AI will take my job. Very few people in that category, very good. AI will make mistakes. I've already had a couple of bouts of this happening. In fact, if you remember, someone mentioned in the morning, Replit, that was the name of the AI agent, which went and deleted about 10,000 records in the database. And when it went and asked, like, why did you do that? Like, under the hood, they realized that it actually said something which was a very human emotion, which it said, I panicked. Right? In fact, I'll be telling you a little bit about prompting later, but one great thing that you can do while you're prompting is actually to take a deep breath and think through this step by step. I know you can do that. If you actually add something like this, the quality of your response actually goes up. I've seen that, right? But yeah, AI will make mistakes. I won't know how to use it. Very genuine fear. I understand how you would. Hopefully today's session, I'm trying to demystify a little bit of this, because what has happened is my experience of AI has been the AI that I've seen in the last 2.5 years, which is generative. And I feel that for a lot of people who have a worry that I'm not so techno savvy, I'm not so technologically, IT and software is not really my play, you will be pleasantly surprised to know how much consumer tech AI has gotten to today, right? Great. I have one last question, and I think it's an important question. I just wanted to, get us started with the rest of the presentation with that. And that question really is, let it come on the screen. in 5 years, the most successful people will be A, the most technical, B, the most creative, C, the best at working with AI, or D, those who avoid AI. Wow. You can clearly see that the majority believe that we are best working with AI. So I feel that creativity and being technical is important, but I think it's also important for us to understand what AI can do for us. Since we all have our phones out, can we do one more experiment, a thought experiment of sorts? Okay, so how many of you, and I think earlier Chris had mentioned this, that we are all dependent on ChatGPT. How many of you feel that way? A lot of times you outsource your thinking, no? Why do I go there, which one to pick, what to do? Now, let's just try to do this experiment. Why don't we do this? Why don't you ask ChatGPT a question? All of us can ask. If you have your phone out already, you can open ChatGPT, and can you ask it to help you pick a number between 1 and 50? Just say, pick a number between 1 and 50. Any number, right? So, just... And if you have done, please raise your hand. Don't tell the answer because you got an answer, right? Don't tell me you got an answer. Okay. Others have also got an answer? Okay. So just hold on to your answer, because what I thought is, let me ask the same question to my ChatGPT. And the number it gave me was 27. What number did you get? 27. 20. You are getting 37 also. Okay, but majority 27. Do you realize what's happening? I'll tell you what's happening. The whole AI, the LLM, think of it as a probability sphere. Okay, what is most obvious is at the core of the sphere. So if you do not provide any context to AI, what it's going to do, it's going to blindly pick what is at the center and toss it at you. 27 is the number that most people would pick. So the chances are ChatGPT is going to give you 27. But now I want you to think that what you think is, mystery is actually not so much of mystery. So the only way I can get the AI to give me a response which is different is for me to take it away from the core. And the only way I can take it away from the core is by giving it more context, and we'll get to that. But since we are on some fun exercises, here are a couple of fun things that ChatGPT cannot do. ChatGPT, you ask it to, it creates images. Have you tried the image creation? Works really nice, yeah? But here is a trick. You give it, tell me, show me a clock with 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 5 p.m., any p.m., it will always tell you 10:10. Why? Because all the clocks available online are ads which give you 10:10, because it's a nice tick and a smiley and whatever marketing likes to believe, but that's what it does. In fact, here is another one. Our Prime Minister Modi made it famous when he actually mentioned it in the Paris, which is, try asking it to create an image of a person writing with his left hand. It can never do that. It will always give an image of a person writing with right hand, because that's the available data is online, right? So with this, I wanted to, introduce what I had, and maybe just take a couple of minutes before we get into a little bit more of, so I have a few more demos that I wanted to show. I'll just try to reload. Can I say show anyway? Okay, show anyway. So what I call as a cyborg mindset, and cyborg mindset is really about, and I think the speaker since morning, there has been one core theme, if you look at what we have, which is humans, machines, and meaning, right? So my whole submission to you, and I hope when you go back, you think about this, which is, how do I work with AI? Right? That's the question really to ask. The idea is not to avoid it, but how do I make it into a partner who is going to be working with me? In fact, this is one of the tweets that was very viral. How many of you remember this tweet? I think LinkedIn, WhatsApp, all this makes us very famous, right? AI will not replace you, a person using AI will. So what do you call a person using AI? It's a word that starts with C. Thank you. Right? So a person using AI, therefore, is a cyborg. Right? But you will say, Arun, now if I am a cyborg, how do I really think about it? So I have done some thinking over the last year, because for me, a lot of what I did, and I'm going to maybe get into that a little later, but what I did was kind of made unnecessary when AI came. Suddenly, what took me 20 years, my education, my experience, to create a craft that I thought only I had, AI could do it in under 2 minutes and for $20 a month, right? And that was humbling, but at the same time, that got me thinking that, well, if AI can do everything, where does this leave me as a human? What are the things that I can do? And I realized that I could distill it into 3 things that are uniquely human. The first thing is, as humans, we are curious. We are curious about the world around us. How do I use this curiosity? How do I amplify it using AI? Second one is around critical thinking. As a human, it is me who is going to use my judgment on what is coming out of the AI. So how do I use it to think critically? And the last one is around communication. Now, AI makes it possible for me to write flawless English. For all of you who thought, I'm very technical, but I can't write those emails, well, you don't have an excuse now, right? Because now ChatGPT or any tool can actually help you communicate like someone who's really a pro at it, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take through these 3. I have about 6-8 minutes, so I want to get to some demos, but I just wanted to... so the first point is around the fact that AI tends to hallucinate. That is the word. AI hallucinates. AI makes up stuff. Sure, but so do people. People lie all the time. It's not a good thing, but that's not a reason why you'll never hire a person. Oh, I know, humans, they lie too much. Yeah, they do, but you'll still hire humans. Similarly, AI does hallucinate, but also we have to understand that AI. So I hope you got the joke over here, right? So I'm trying not to be political, but it's India, I can do that. If I were going to the US, not so much. So one of the things about curiosity is, how do I be curious with AI, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show some examples, and these are all examples that I hope you can, kind of incorporate in your day-to-day life, because being a bad cyborg is using AI for, I'll tell you the top 3 reasons why people use AI. Number 1, writing emails. Agree? Number 2, summarizing large documents. Number 3, writing performance appraisal. Right? So you can write nice things. I didn't know this guy was so nice till ChatGPT told me. Right? So the whole idea is we are using it, but we are not using it deeply. So one of the things that we can use this is for doing a lot of research. And I don't know how many of you know about the news, but I'm just going to give some of you, not all of you, I'm going to gift you 20,000 rupees. Would you like that? Why not? Here is what you need to do. Please, how many of you have an Airtel subscription? Okay, so all you need to do is go to your Airtel app. In your Airtel app, there is rewards and OTT. Go to rewards, you will find Perplexity Pro free for 1 whole year with all the models that you can think of, right? So they recently did this, so I'll just maybe show you the interface that I have for Perplexity. So, yep. So what you have over here, and I'm just kind of showing you the model. So right now, for example, you have all of these models. You have Claude, you have GPT 4.5, you have Gemini, you have Grok, you have Grok 4, right? That's one of the latest models. All of that is available to you, right? At your fingertips. If you're an Airtel subscribers, Congratulations, you got 20,000 rupees worth of all these tools for free, right? So if nothing else, whether my message made sense or not, you have gotten 20K, so I'm very happy that there was some positive karma. So what I would like to do is, since we are on this thing, can you give me one thing that you would like to research? And this goes back to the whole hallucination thing, but just go back to the last 1 week. We are right now on a Friday, so maybe start your week on Monday. Was there anything that you had to think about and that you had to research about? Anything that you had to research about? Anything? I'm going to give you like 10 seconds, please. Rishabh Pant's longevity in cricket is kind of possible, but I would like something for which there is research. So I'm going to pick that and I'm going to use that somewhere else. Okay? I'm going to use that somewhere else. But anything else that you would like to research on? Any topic that you thought of? Yeah. Super app. So super app for what industry, or generally super app? Huh? So I had picked something for manufacturing industry. So can I delete this? Because super app is fairly super apps that are all in one apps. You know, the moment you give this, you have heard of the word agent? Is that a word that you have? So a lot of times I feel that it's very hard to explain what is an agent. So I'll give you a very simple definition. Agent needs to do two things. Agent needs to have reasoning. It should be able to reason. That means there is a reasoning engine that is required. So what you saw over here, Grok 4 and all that, they are all reasoning AIs. The second thing it needs to have is it needs to have tool access. Tool access over here is going to be search. So what you will do is, the moment you give this query, what Perplexity is going to do is it's not going to act like Google. And this is where I would like you to kind of differentiate the way we use Google with the way we use AI. Google is a means to the end. Google is where I go and say, give me 5 designs so that I can think of a good design for my house. In AI, I go and tell the AI that, hey, give me a design for my house. I'm not interested to be inspired by, 5 other things. And what you see over here is most of the responses that you get, and this is, I did a simple search, but most of the responses you get will be what is called as RAG, but I will not get into the technical terms, but you know that everything that is coming into the response has a citation, right? It is very, very important today, whenever you are depending on AI, to have a citation. Did you hear about the recent incident of the Air India CEO who came out with a press statement? And he said things which were about, the crash, but it was actually taken from another airline CEO who had said something very similar 3 months ago. What do you think happened? The press release was at 4:20 or 4:30 that day. Crash happened in the afternoon, right? Someone went to the PR team and said, hey, give me a quick press statement, CEO has to give. And the CEO got panicked, oh, this alarm is running, right? Okay, he said, let me just go ask ChatGPT. And ChatGPT gave a response that unfortunately was plagiarized, right? So it's very important that you are able to kind of look at it. So I'll just maybe get to the next one, which is some use cases. So just a quick 30 seconds on this. I'm just giving you 3 examples of how you can be curious. Today, it is easier than ever for you to learn something, right? I come from a vintage where we had to go to a library, right? Then you had, as someone said, information democratization. Today, there is knowledge and implementation democratization that is happening. So one example is Feynman technique. What I have really liked with AI is to say, think I'm a smart teenager. Somehow this prompt works very well, because the teenager smart means not like a 5-year-old. Okay, I know a little bit, but don't assume too much on that. Or if you have your domain, what is happening today, whether it's in Silicon Valley, whether it's in Europe, all of it can be researched sitting right out of your office in Electronic City. And the same thing for competitor analysis. There is so much of competition information available that if you just prompt the AI correctly, you will unearth so much of information, so much of intelligence that it's really crazy that so much of it is available, which also means that your own information, you should probably search and see how much your competitors can access. The second thing is about, and this is again a meme that I think I relate with. So first when AI came, I was very happy. Now everything will be done by AI. Then slowly I started thinking, hey, if this is also done by AI, what does that leave me with? Why should I wake up and do this because AI is doing this? And that's where I think the critical thinking part also kind of comes in, which is your ability to think. And here is a very quick, maybe we are short on time, so I'll not do a demo. But all of you have your ChatGPT, right? Here is one request. Once you go back, turn on the audio mode, right? You have multimodal. Have a conversation with ChatGPT for 15 minutes. You can use it as a therapist. You can use it as a business coach. You can use it as a friend. Don't stretch it too much. But the point is, you have a sparring partner. You have a mental sparring partner. So when you're actually interacting with AI, the idea is not to go to AI. See, we come from a world where we go to computer, give a task to computer, and then we come back. Correct? We give a task to computer. Computer will do the task, and computer will give that to me. But now we are in an age where I have to engage, just my last point, engage and interact with the AI. So when I go and talk to the AI for the first time, AI is telling me things that I did not know. Has it happened to you? What I don't know that I don't know. I'm saying, give me 10 reasons why this should happen. It's giving me 10 reasons. The human has to ask, well, out of this 10, point number 3 and 7 looks good. Let me take and move forward on that. So the idea that I would like to submit, and again, the whole crux of this, maybe you want to go to the last slide, and then, okay. So what I'll do is, I'll just maybe give the last points, and then, so what I wanted to conclude with is, thinking clearly in English is a superpower. The hottest new programming language in town, in case you haven't heard of it, is English. What you need to tell the AI is important. How to do it, AI will figure out. You don't need to worry. But that what has to be with you. You need to have the creativity. You need to have the insight of what you need to look at. The first draft is AI, but the last draft is mine. I am the person who's going to put my sign on it and say, this is my work. I can't go and hide and say, oh, AI did this mistake. So always make sure that you're putting your name on whatever you have. And the last part is AI makes good enough free. See, whatever you can think of, landing page, this, that, everything can be done in 5 minutes. That is the good news and also the bad news. Because if it can be done in 5 minutes by you, it can be done in 5 minutes by anyone else. So what is really your competitive moat is one of the things that I would like you to think about. And I'm going to close on that note. And just for the parts that you think you have missed, I'm going to be putting up, by the way, this is a thing that I think most of us have seen. I want AI to do my laundry and dishes so I can do art and writing. Not for AI to do art and writing so I can do laundry and dishes. With that, I have one slide where I have put QR code again, where you can scan, and it has some resources that you would be able to download. Thank you very much for your time. Post lunch, very hard, but you have been very participative, so thank you so much for that.